It's time to announce a new addition to my collection, something I've been keeping from you. And to do so, we're at Quail, the world's greatest hypercar show. Today, we will be spoiled by reveals of the new one-off Bugatti Brouillard, the extraordinary GMA S1 LM tribute to the McLaren F1 GTR, Lamborghini taking the covers off Fenomeno, and so much more. But there's something I've not been telling you, so stay tuned to see what it is. Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're here at Quail and it is time for the covers to come off. Let's check it all out. Mark my words, you are going to want to see this new Lamborghini later. Stay tuned for that. But for the time being, there is a lot to see here at Quail. So let's go and explore the cars that already have the covers off. Given we're here in California, we start with some homegrown hypercars. Last year, Czinger delivered the first customer 21C. This year, it is quite the turnout. These have been smashing records at racetracks all over. You have the tandem seating sat dead center. They use AI to help develop all of the components, and the skeleton behind it all is quite extraordinary. There's a 2.88 litre twin turbocharged V8 along with the hybrid system, but very, very, very clever stuff, and incredibly impressive to see the turnout they've been able to put together on the stand this year. This particular car is the California Gold Rush car with some war wounds and fresh scars because it has set those lap records. They've been on a tour taking the ultimate in lap record times at many different circuits, proving what it's capable of. And then just look at this more closely. Have you ever seen a car designed like this? It's all about optimizing strength, saving weight everywhere possible. Look at the design. It's very, very clever. The peak of engineering, what they're doing with these. There are all sorts of other cars around. For example, a 1997 Schumacher F1 car. This actually raced at Jerez. That's when Schumacher was leading the World Championship by a single point ahead of that race, then crashed with Jacques Villeneuve, taking Schumacher out of the race, and Villeneuve went on to win that championship season. You can't talk hypercars and not come and visit Koenigsegg. This is Sadair's Spear, a follow-on from Jesko, now with 1,625 horsepower. It's named after Christian von Koenigsegg's father, Jesko von Koenigsegg's final racehorse in the 1970s, hence the paint colour in the metallic brown with the lime green and white, which were his jockey racing colours. This takes the platform though, makes it more extreme, significantly more aero, the double aerofoil on the rear wing, directional wheels as well, in fact each one being different from the others and limited to only 30 cars in total. Some lovely design details like the spear that shoots down the side and of course brings all of Koenigsegg's technology and engineering and know-how into an even crazier car than they'd ever done before. Alongside is Jumeirah. Now this wears the new F10 aero package, so you see the extended splitter, the canards, the new skirts around the side come to the rear, we have a new diffuser, and also the spoiler still makes 2,300 horsepower from the V8 that they've added to the platform, but it also features the ski box on the roof, and interestingly that works in the same way as the doors with auto skin, so you can open this. It connects, it's quick release detachable, and of course you've then got even more practicality from your four-seater very fast Koenigsegg. The sun is out just in time to take a look at this, the Tuthill Meyes Manx LFG. Now in previous years we've seen from Tuthill the 911K, the GT1, but this, and I'm led to believe from the press material, LFG is let's flipping go. It is a modern take on the Meyes Manx that back in 1977 was victorious at the Baja 1000. Now Tuthill are known for their expertise with making rally-going Porsches, and they've brought that to this. So an engine derived from that of the 911K, we're talking a 4-litre flat six, 400 odd horsepower, carbon body, detachable doors. This is going to be a lot of fun. They're making 100 of them, 20 of which will be ready in time for a 50th anniversary rally to Baja in 2027. This is a big one today, the new Bugatti Brouillard, the first car from their new Programme Solitaire of bespoke one-off vehicles. I can't wait to see that cover pulled off shortly. It's time for the covers to come off. The new Lamborghini. This is Fenomeno. I'm going to be taking a full look at that shortly. The lawns are also very much showing some beautiful classic cars. We've got the post-war sports section, which features a few Mercedes 300 SL Gullwings, which is one of my favourite classic cars in the entire world. Here we go. Wow. Programme Solitaire for the Peridon collection. the Bugatti Brouillard. Aston Martin are celebrating 75 years of Aston here in the United States, and as such, they've launched the Thrillseeker Collection with 3 different models, each of which there will be 3 units in total, so 9 cars. We start with the Vantage Roadster, that is representing morning. You then have the DB12 Volante, representing noon, and the Vanquish Volante to wrap up the day with the evening. The cars are all open top, celebrating the thrill of open air driving. Of course, special editions through Aston Martin's Q division, featuring some very bespoke elements throughout. There is a lot of buzz in the room about this, the Aston Martin Valhalla. There are 999 coupes to come of this hybrid V8. I think it's verging on hypercar, the son of Valkyrie. Now, I was lucky to drive one of these just a couple of weeks ago, and that video is coming very soon, but this particular example has the front section in the exposed carbon fibre, demonstrating the options and what you can do with the spec, towards the rear in the signature podium green, the iconic paint colour, but seats right there inside the carbon fibre cage that surrounds you, all the latest tech, and an AMG-derived flat-plane crank V8 putting out nearly 1,100 horsepower in total. I can tell you, it's pretty epic. Here we are, Gordon Murray Automotive, Gordon Murray Special Vehicles. This is the SV GTR, and over the other side is the new S1 LM. Would you look at these 2 cars? There'll be 24 of this, 5 of the others, and as always, we'll take a better look later on. Introducing one of the highlights then, the new Lamborghini Fenomeno. This is the latest in the few-off series of cars that began back in 2007 with Reventon. We've seen Sesto Elemento, Veneno, Centenario, Sian, Countach, and now the latest. There are going to be 29 in total, which represents 20 years of Centro Stile, the Lamborghini design department in Sant'Agata Bolognese, and 9, the number of the few-off models, including the convertibles, along the way. It's their most powerful V12 engined car ever, 1,080 horsepower. The 6.5-litre naturally aspirated V12 combustion engine, 10 up to 835, 10 more than the Revuelto, on which this is of course based. The electric motors, though, producing an extra 55 horsepower thanks to a lot of rework that's gone into it. It also has new manually adjustable racing shocks. We have CCMR Plus brakes. It's going to be an exceptionally dynamic drive. A few more changes on the interior, but it's all about the design. That few-off philosophy of being able to go wild with it, create something that's very unique. And each of the cars will of course be done through the Ad Personam program to be completely different from one another. Ultimately, it is an absolute wow showpiece when it stands out here at Quail, one of the highlights to come and see. We can have a very quick glimpse inside the Lamborghini Fenomeno. You can see a few changes in the center stack, that alien feeling above the screen as per Revuelto before, but of course a lot of bespoke elements and design features, including the seats, new trim and carbon style for the bucket seat inside the new car. The lineup represented here also with Temerario on this side and a Revuelto over on the other side. Missing the Urus from the full family, but Lamborghini's portfolio growing, all hybridized. All of the models now offering hybrid powertrains. The 10,000 RPM in this car, which I experienced on track recently, is absolutely amazing. Guntherwerks have a new project here. This is the F-26, named after the fighter jet from which its design and styling is inspired. You'll notice the slant nose style design, that familiar Porsche motorsport trait seen on the 935, and in fact the exhaust system also inspired by that car. This weighs only 2,700 pounds, yet produces 1,000 horsepower and 750 foot-pounds. It has a 4-litre twin turbocharged flat 6 developed with Rothsport Racing. It's got extensive use of carbon fibre, carries that retro Porsche vibe, but of course with modern technologies, modern materials, and absolutely looks the part, every detail as you explore it. It would be rude not to come and take a better look at this. Just feast your eyes on the presentation of this engine bay. The carbon fibre, the materials, air-cooled twin-turbo flat 6, 1,000 horsepower in something as light as this. Exposed down there at the rear, this is really very, very nice. Then also, this is the very, very pretty GWX. So taking the turbo platform, making it stiffer, more focused, and featuring the 440 horsepower 4-litre NA flat 6. Again, everything about it, even down to these exposed carbon stripes with the pinstriping detail, this beautiful purple paint that goes along with the look of the car based on the 993 platform. Tucked away, we have the Alfa 33 Stradale, the 33 Stradale, 33 cars, obviously platform sharing with the sister company Maserati, the the MC20. You might have seen Valtteri Bottas actually very recently took delivery of his over in Monaco, but this might be one of the earliest debuts of the very, very good-looking Alfa Romeo, link back to their history and the most valuable classic, in fact, from all time wearing the Alfa Romeo badge, the 33 Stradale. There's a little squadron of Lamborghinis here, highlighted by the Sesto Elemento, one of the earlier few-off series hypercars. They basically all virtually vanished off the face of the planet back 15 years ago or so, although more recently, a number of them have been appearing. It was originally track only, but this has had the Lansante treatment and been made road legal. Of the original 20, it's believed only 9 were ever actually made, but that's here along with the likes of the Aventador SV, one of 600, the Gallardo, Superleggera, Porsche Carrera GT, and plenty more Lamborghinis, the line of Countachs that you can see around here as well. There are a few unusual superstars here, the likes of the Vector W8 Twin Turbo, and if we come over this way, that Koenigsegg is particularly unusual. This was the original Koenigsegg CC prototype. This was the very first Koenigsegg car that they made that has been brought over here from the Middle East to be displayed here at Quail, and it looks awesome. And Mr. Christian von Koenigsegg has shown up to have a little conversation about his first car as well, to talk all about it. There's a Spyker C8 SLS Black Series, one of my favorites, the Aston Martin 177, one of only 77, which had the most powerful naturally aspirated V12 in the world at the time it was introduced back around 2010. We've got a Super Trofeo Stradale, one of 150 that Lamborghini made of those, the Starato, the McLaren Elva, and in fact the livery on this one of 149 McLaren Elva matches the recent project by Lansante of the McLaren P1 Spider. Now, to make a convertible P1, which is something that McLaren had mooted a little bit back at the time but never actually did themselves, takes more than you might think. It's not just chopping off the roof, no, it's re-engineering where the door is normally hinged from up on the roof section, also the entire rear, which is normally hidden underneath the glass. So a lot more work going into that than initially meets the eye, but this being the first, I think, of the project to make the convertible McLaren P1. This is a particularly good looking Porsche Carrera GT, and it happens to be a one-of-one example, factory painted in original PTS Signal Yellow, which for these cars, you may know, they weren't all that commonly found in out-of-range colours as you would with a modern car now, making this even more spectacular. Goodness me, I think we have a new contender for the crown at this year's show. This is the Gordon Murray Automotive Special Vehicles S1 LM. Picture the scene 30 years ago, 1995, the GMA or Gordon Murray designed McLaren F1 took top step at the podium at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. 30 years later, this is his modern interpretation based on the T50. There are only 5 cars. Of course, this is the beginning of their new special vehicles program. Not only do you continue with the central seat, but also the V12, now up from 3.9 litres to 4.3, around 700 horsepower, designed clearly inspired by the F1 GTR road car, I should add as well. I think for petrol heads and automotive enthusiasts around the world, this is about as fantastic as it gets. I could not imagine anything more special than driving this. The first client who commissioned the project, determining that he wanted to build something he could drive to the track, have fun on the roads, go have some fun on the racetrack as well, go sit, chill with a non-alcoholic beer, enjoy looking at the car before driving it back on the nice twisty roads. And to me, this would just be the most amazing driving experience. I can't wait to find out more about it. Come around towards the back and take a look at this. There's so much to talk about. Look at the design elements, these horizontal lines that you see through the rear grille and in these dedicated tail lamps that have been created for it, reminiscent of those on the F1. Look below, the evolution to the diffuser, but the exhaust tailpipe positioning. Come up, the rear wing, even the way the openings are here on the rear window, all of these details, but modernized. Even the body lines, look at the way it shapes around over the tires, this very short rear overhang, the proportions, so reminiscent of the earlier cars. Come here as well, the knacker duct for cooling coming through to the increased output engine. Look at the cuts through here in the bodywork. It will have sliding windows, which means they don't have to go down into the doors, giving you better airflow through and also more space inside the cabin. These higher door mirrors, or I should say A-pillar mirrors mounted up there to snorkel over the top. Everything about it, I think, has been done to perfection. Coming to the other side of the stand, the second vehicle that's been introduced here as well from GMA's Special Vehicles division. This is the Le Mans GTR. So the idea of going back to the 90s, but imagining that style and ethos in a modern day car that you could run at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In fact, there will be 24 of them, 1 per hour of the famous 24-hour race. It's based again on the T50 platform, so we're talking the central seating position, seating with one passenger on either side, and of course the Cosworth-derived naturally aspirated V12. On a normal day, this would truly stand out. The design, those Le Mans styling cues, the big wing that you find at the rear, everything about it. But once it's sitting next to the S1 LM, I tell you what, it's certainly overload today. I'm just looking forward to finding out more about this once it's further through the development process. This is a special area. We start with the SSC Tuatara Striker. We've seen that car before. Then we have my friend Faster's Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport Vitesse. We then move to a Lamborghini Huracan Technica. Given we're in the Monterey area, this is a Monterey Blue Lamborghini Murcielago LP640 Roadster. We also have the Ford GT Mark IV, the ultimate track version of the GT, a Koenigsegg Regera from Zane 786 Collection, and we have Seacole's Koenigsegg Agera RS, one of only 25. Plus, the supercars just go on and on. This is the section, the evolution of the supercar. The Ferrari enthusiast in me has just got very excited by where we are. I mean, look at this. I'm not going to call everything out. There's an F40 over there. Come this way, though, past an amazing lineup and display. There's another F40. We're going to spin the camera this way, though, because look, we've got a silver Enzo. Behind that, the 575. We've got the yellow Daytona SP3. But come over here, because I make no secret my favorite car in the world is the Ferrari F50. And we are spoiled today. It's not the car that I'm going to be adding to the Shmeemobiles as much as I would love to, because we have this amazing display, the black, the red, the silver and the yellow, all four of the original colours of the Ferrari F50, celebrating 30 years now of the car. But that's just the start, because around the crowds here we have yellow, red, 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 black, black. It's just mind-blowing. F50 enthusiasts would be over the moon seeing this, and all of the cars that are lined up here. I mean, this is, other than the F50 rally held by Ferrari, the cavalcade in Italy, I'm not sure this many have been together at any point in recent years. My eyes are also drawn in this direction to the Aston Martin Valiant, one of 38, the follow-on from Valor, of which there are 110 for the 110 years of Aston Martin, but this was influenced by Fernando Alonso. It increases the drama of the bodywork, but continues with the manual gearbox linked to the 5.2-litre twin-turbocharged V12 as part of Aston Martin's more bespoke lineup, and always amazing to see. With our platform exclusive car registry, you can take the experience of Quail beyond the lawn. Our events pages showcase every car in attendance year by year, offering not just information, but the stories and details that make these incredible machines so special. As you watch the cars in this video, you can explore them more deeply within the platform, from specifications to histories, and see how they fit into the wider world of collectible automobiles. By joining today with a free account, you'll become part of an international community of enthusiasts and collectors, all contributing to build a complete picture of the rarest and most extraordinary cars. Together, we're helping the world's finest cars come alive long after the event is over. Czinger, of course, here as always. This is the 911 Carrera Coupe, reimagined by Czinger. Up front, you see the pop-up headlights. They do tuck away into the bodywork, but Czinger bringing their usual expertise and skills to completely modernising and really taking charge and leading the show when it comes to these things. I mean, do I need to say any more when you look at that? This is Pet Fred's 935 in the Marlboro livery. This is a race car, but he's taken it to Lanzante. It's had the road legal conversion as well. He's been driving it around up here during Car Week, and I tell you, this thing on the road looks the part. One of the highlights announced in advance, a car that I've truly been looking forward to exploring in detail, is this, the new Bugatti Brouillard. This is a true one-of-one. In fact, it marks the introduction of the new Programme Solitaire, exclusive one-off vehicles built for Bugatti's most high-profile clients. And in fact, this car belongs to the Péridon collection, who have over 30 Bugatti cars, classics and new. And in fact, beyond that even, different things that link to the hobbies of the Bugatti family. The name of this car is in fact named after Ettore Bugatti's favourite racehorse, Brouillard. He was a keen horse racer, and there are many details that link to that as well, beyond the paint scheme in the exterior. Talking design, the roof has this fantastic plastic glass that blends back. The front is inspired by Mistral, the car that was launched here a couple of years ago. And as you come round towards the tail, these clean lines, there are no creases or awkward shapes, the permanent ducktail back here, and some stunning elements. But it's also believed to be the last model to feature the W16. The engine that was launched with the Veyron has seen the Chiron and the specials like 110, Devo, you name it. And this is most likely the very last use of that power plant before entering the tourbillon era with the hybrid V16. On the interior, the links to horse racing continue with the trims and the finish of the seats and the door cards. But I have to say, you stand here and you are aware that you're in the presence of something that's really standing out. In fact, it will be very significant for the rest of time. It's the first member of this solitaire program of vehicles, which no doubt are going to be offered to future Bugatti clients down the line, and a very special one for the Péridon collection to take delivery of right here at Quail, for the world to see Brouillard for the first time. We're at Eccentrica, who you might have seen before. They effectively take the Lamborghini Diablo, modernize it, a resto mod of the iconic Lambo model. They've launched the new Pacchetto Titano, a more sporty model featuring a stiffer setup, new carbon fiber wheels, a new wing at the rear, and a lighter weight steering wheel as well. Not only that, this particular car, the Eccentrica V12, is finished in full exposed visible carbon fiber. And I tell you what, with the rise of this industry, it's great to see all of these cars. People taking iconic legends, the modern classics, almost verging on full classic of the Lamborghini Diablo, and of course turning it into something right up to date with a V12, which of course we all love. The Lexus Sport concept, of course, at Goodwood, we saw the new Toyota GT concept. I think it's not going to be long until we have a successor to the LFA launching, maybe as a Lexus, maybe as a Toyota, maybe as a GR. We shall find out. We saw it unveiled, now we can see it in more detail. This is the Hennessey Venom F5 LF. It belongs to my friend Lewis from Gentleman's Garage. He's taken delivery today of Hennessy's first Maverick vehicle. This is their program for making one-off vehicles, and this is, of course, a Venom F5, the Evolution, so it features the 2031 horsepower combustion engine, but it's also a roadster. It's also the Revolution with the more aggressive bodywork, so we're talking the extended front splitter and the canards, the roof snorkel, the much larger rear wing, plus it is also, most crucially, a manual. This is a complete one-off vehicle from Hennessey. Normally the vehicle would have the paddle shifters, but this has been built completely in a bespoke way. The stealth package for the exposed carbon stripe and livery, it is quite the thing. More details that have changed since the initial car was introduced as they moved into this facelift, this update, the Evolution as I mentioned they call it, but really special to have taken delivery of this right here, the most bespoke, most standout Venom F5 that's been built to date. While we're here, it would be rude not to hear fury. Listen to the sound of that. Angry, aggressive, the Hennessey motor in here, that is raw and means business. Wow! Well, that sounds mightily impressive. We can take a quick look at Tony Stark's Acura NSX Spider. Of course, the new Honda Acura NSX never formed a convertible. Maybe in the future we'll see a new version, and maybe that will have an open top. We shall see. This F50 coming through has just won an award for the class. It's a prototype, in fact, come over from Brazil. Absolutely immaculate, original, first early, well, prototype literally, F50, followed by, and there have been a lot of these around, GT350s. Listen to that thunderous roar. However, I'm beelining to this, a Ferrari F50 GT. These were built by Dallara and Michelotto with Ferrari back in the 90s. There were only 3 ever made because the car never went into racing, and seeing one is a true unicorn moment. I mean, this is full GT racing spec Ferrari F50. Look at this wing and how different it is from the built-in wing to the rear clam of the road-going car. You don't see one of these very often at all, and as a pretty big fan of the F50, being with this car, being in the presence of this car is quite a special moment. We might might even be lucky enough to hear it fire up in a moment. And if we do, we're definitely going to know about it, as this, I think, is probably also here to win an award. I mean, just look at that car. Engine is running, 4.7 litre V12, about 700 horsepower in the GT. And just listen to that and smell that. You can't smell it through the screen, but mark my words, it's good. This is drawing quite the crowd as it comes through. I mean, understandably so when you're aware of the history and the significance of this car, the whole team managing it. They are ready to announce the best of show winner, and there's one car waiting to come up. So you would assume this is it then, the winner of the best of show, voted for by the entrants and the class winners, of course, of each category. But this is wheel up, very, very low.
So here you go, 1996 F50 GT1, the winner of the Rolex Circle of Champions Best of Show Award of the Quail 2025.
Hey, winner! That's cool! Love it! The supercar rollouts begin, which is always amazing to watch. We're going to see a lot of cars on the move. Mercy me on the plate. Look, the Type 00 is here, although it's now been covered, which I'm sure for many people they would say is probably a better way to see it. Obviously, it's been a controversial talking point, this car, when it was introduced, the new era of Jaguar, but hey, we're not going to be able to see it in full anymore today, sadly. At Corvette, where the cars are coming off, we've had the 1959 Stingray Racer. Also on the stage is the C8R Vision Gran Turismo, the car to play in the Gran Turismo gaming franchise. Next to it, the CX Concept, a vision of a future, another mid-engined but very futuristic generation of Corvette, because of course the C8 generation is the first to have gone mid-engined, a car that I've been very close to, a car that not all that long ago I mentioned was going to be joining the Shmeemobiles, a ZR1 in fact, the 1064 horsepower version. We went out to Charlotte, we took a first look around it, and I said that it was going to be coming down the line. Well, there might be one little thing that's kind of like this that I neglected to mention at the time, one thing that might be added on right there that may possibly be a ZR or ZR1X that is coming. Yes, the hybrid with hypercar performance in a ultimate specification of the C8 Corvette, the American sports car in so many ways, is coming to the Shmeemobile. If you don't know that much about this thing, 1,250 horsepower, thanks to the twin turbocharged 5.5 litre V8, supplemented by a twin pair of electric motors on the front axle, another with turbo, the new updated interior for 2026 as well. It's been revised. Gone is that button wall that's famously been spoken about. There are new screens, there's a new dash, there's a lot more to it. There are of course different options, different specifications we're going to talk about, but I tell you what, it's the first time I had ever seen a ZR1X is right here at Quail, and one of these is going to be coming. There are very few things though that give it away from the outside. The X logo, and then if you come round towards the front, because otherwise it's the same aero, and this is without the big wing and all of the extra craziness. Inside here, that's how you tell. That front radiator, the vertical lines inside, that's basically the only difference. I think it's amazing that they made this, basically the X, as a package for the ZR1. I'm very excited about this. Who knows, maybe there'll be something else in the future, but we had to keep the X bit a little bit secret at the time because, well, it wasn't really public. But it is now, so we can talk about it. Get ready. You may not be familiar with the Bovensiepen name, but you should be. The family that were previously behind Alpina, which is of course now part of BMW, have created this, the Bovensiepen Zagato, taking the German underpinnings of a BMW M4 convertible, which I'll explain in a moment, and using a partnership with the design house Zagato from Italy to create a luxury two-door coupe. Now the reason for the convertible is to give it that open, lack of B-pillar feel. Of course, everything has been upgraded. The bodywork is full carbon fiber, completely unique for the 100 or so units that are going to be built. The wheelbase is that of the M4, but the proportions of the car overall more in line with the size and proportions of the BMW M8. The headlights moving forwards by around 10 centimeters, for example. I'm looking forward to finding out more about this. Of course, a new take in that luxury segment, a car that no doubt would be wonderful to go on a big grand tour. I'm hoping we can get by with the music. We're right by the main stage. It's wrapping up towards the end though, but here at Pagani, Pagani, there's a wonderful history of the R cars to talk about. And we come over to the Zonda Monza. Now, I don't think I've ever seen this before, but the Zonda Monza was when one of the early Pagani customers wanted to build a race-going version, and this was created as a one-off, the idea for which then became the Zonda R. Of course, these were made in very limited numbers, this one in the livery to celebrate the record lap at the Nürburgring of 6 minutes 47 seconds. Before that then spawned the Zonda Revolution. This is my friend Faster's car, which I actually rode shotgun in for some laps at Sonoma Raceway, which was quite the experience. And beyond that, we also have a customer, Huayra R. But up on the stage, the car that they've been showing is the very Huayra R Evo Roadster that I got to drive at Spa-Francorchamps, which was the most amazing of experiences, as you can no doubt imagine. This very car, which actually right now Horacio himself is standing right beside, no doubt very proud of being able to show this story of the R cars from Pagani, taking their road-going hypercars and making track-specific versions to go alongside them. After touring Superleggera previously introduced Veloce12 here at Quail in coupe form, of which 30 cars are being made, they've now taken the wraps off the Barchetta, the open driving experience Veloce12 Barchetta, of which only 15 will be created. It takes the underpinnings of the Ferrari 550, a platform that's now becoming more iconic by the day, of course, naturally aspirated V12, a gated manual shifter, and given it an entirely remade look, new bodywork, new interior, but retaining the essence of what the original car was all about. There are no big digital screens, it's not about the infotainment, it's about the driving experience, the ultimate in grand touring. There's a revised suspension setup which can be customized to the owner's demands. There's also a new exhaust for even more sound from the 12-cylinder combustion engine, but launched right here. The hum of the V12. There's something about that more classic 12-cylinder. Okay, exhaust valves opened, and that was a slightly different experience. A Utopia appears while a Giallo Modena F50 goes by. That's Gentleman's Garage, and that's the factory car that I was fortunate enough to drive in Italy a while back. There's a wonderful display here from the Peterson Museum, cars and culture of the 80s and 90s, the likes of the Jaguar XJ220, the E30 M3 Sport Evolution, the EB110, the 400R just around the corner, which I actually saw when I was at the Peterson Museum, plus the Alfa SZ up at the front as well. The Eccentrica rolling out, I've got to say, the lime green with the white wheels is a good spec for that. What a day here at Quail. We've seen all sorts of new cars. The ZR1X is joining the Shmeemobiles, but let me know in the comments down below which has been your favorite from this year's show. If you like videos like this, check out the one right over there. But that's it for this time, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.